You won't learn! You don't won't learn!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this episode of Russ's Rant and the Tar Heel Mobile, I'm going to tell you why I am pissed off to be 8-2. That's right, upset. That's right, North Carolina football fan upset about being 8-2. But before we get into the rant per se, I'm going to tell you a little story. So as many of you know, I just recently came back from a trip from Chapel Hill where I was able to bring my family and watch the Carolina Duke game, which was a great game. And we had a blast, right? Had a blast. And at the end of the day, the Victory Bell stayed in Chapel Hill. It's painted the right color blue. And I got to meet some good people and get some cool merch and etc., etc. You say to yourself, man, that sounds like a great trip. It was. It was a good trip. Not complaining about that at all. But after the Duke Carolina game, me and my family, we had a little hotel that we had to go up to Raleigh because we booked it real late. It was real late in the game, and I should have never waited that long. But we ended up booking it. That's what we got. And so we drive up there, stay in the hotel. There's plenty of other Carolina fans there that were out of town, and they stayed the night too. But I thought about something the next morning. You know, sweet older couple. You know, I'm going out to the elevator, and a sweet older couple, and one of the ladies, she saw that I had all my Carolina gear on. I was going to the basketball game later, and she made the comment, you know, how about that game last night? I said, yeah, it was awesome. You know, I mean, Heels won. They stormed the field. It's a night game. They beat Duke. You know, awesome. And she said, yeah, we've been coming here for decades. Coming to home games for decades. And that right there was the pinnacle. Now, I thought to myself, that's an interesting statement. You say, why is that an interesting statement, Russ? I'll tell you why that's an interesting statement. Because if you're looking at it from purely an entertainment value, from the lens or the eyes of entertainment, that's about as good as it comes, right? You have a team, that team goes back and forth with its rival, and with a limited amount of time on the clock, they drive to tie it up, send it into overtime, it goes into double overtime, and then your superstar player makes superstar plays to bring your team the victory. And that sounds like a comic book or something. It sounds like a fairy tale story, right? Yeah. That's a surface level value of what transpired on Saturday night, Carolina Duke. But like I said, on paper, North Carolina should have ran freaking through those guys. We are the flagship of North Carolina. We have the far superior athletes. But the difference is mentality and coaching. And that is one of the big reasons why we have underachieved this year at 8-2. Yes, underachieved. Now, usually we just drive around, but your boy is going to find a little parking space real quick because I'd like to talk to you about some statistics that will they'll give a little bit of credence to the reason why I'm telling you that I'm pissed that Carolina is 8-2. Now, let me get into the parking spot. This looks like a good parking spot. I'm going to come in here, go into a little church parking spot, and I got some notes on my phone, so give me a second because I'm going to show you why I'm pissed. And I guess I can preface it with this. The reason why I'm making this Russ's rant about this certain topic is because I have heard from a lot of guys that I respect vehemently a lot of beat writers, guys talking about how, we should celebrate 8-2. How, for instance, this is, and I'm not going to name them by name because I don't want this to come out as an attack. It's definitely not. I respect these guys wholeheartedly, and I enjoy very much listening to their takes on my team, the Heels. But I keep hearing that we should be excited about 8-2, celebrate 8-2. This is only the 22nd time that Carolina has been 8-2 at this point in the season, and that's a reason to celebrate. And you know what? For a lot of teams, I would agree. There are certain years as a Carolina fan that 8-2 would be worthy of celebrating. I completely agree. But let me read these stats off to you real quick. I'm going to tell you why I'm pissed to be 8-2. I have to do this because, I don't want to be driving and reading this. So, North Carolina obviously is 8-2, 4-2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Now, these are their recruiting classes. According to 247 Sports, UNC had the number 11 recruiting class in 22, the number 14 recruiting class in 21, the number 14 recruiting class in 20, the number 31 recruiting class in 19. So they've had 3 top 15 recruiting classes in the last 4 years. Now, these are the Tar Heels' opponents this year. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the emphasis on this fact. Carolina will go the entire regular season without playing a top 25 team. Think about that for a second. Think about that just for a second. The entire regular season. How many did they play last year? I didn't even look that up. I think Wake Forest might have been ranked. Who else? Somebody, put down in the comment section. I'll look at it later. I should have looked that crap up before I made this video. But I want to give you Carolina's opponents real quick. The South Carolina Gamecocks were 4-6. They're 4-6 right now. App State is 6-4. Minnesota is 5-5. Pitt is 2-8. Syracuse 5-5, and they started off stinking 4-0. Miami 6-4. UVA 2-8. Georgia Tech 5-5. Campbell 4-6. Duke 6-4. That's a combined record of 43-60. The 10 opponents that the North Carolina Tar Heels have played have a combined record of 43-60. The best record that they've played so far is App State at 6-4 and Miami at 6-4. Those are their best opponents. The Heels, those are their best opponents thus far. 6 wins, 4 losses. That's a winning percentage of 42% for their combined opponents. This is a top 20 team. Let's just say it's top 20 because currently they're number 20 in the college football playoff rankings. A top 20 team that's 8-2 against a strength of schedule with a 42% win percentage. Their losses came to teams with a combined record right now of 7-13. The winning percentage of 35%, .350. There are 2 losses. Both of them while they're in the top 25. Do you kind of see why I'm pissed off right now? You understand why when somebody tells me it's, and look, man, all due respect. When you tell me to be excited about 8-2, I'll be excited about 8-2 when those losses came to Georgia and Athens and freaking LSU and Baton Rouge. All right, that's when I'm going to be excited about being 8-2. But this schedule right here, you want me to be happy with 8-2? Absolutely stinking not, bro. I don't care about the history. I don't care about any of that crap. What I care about is that this team should have been 10-0. Say, is this, a team that can compete with Georgia? Or, look, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. We're talking about this football team against that schedule. And I said this crap after the Virginia game when they were 6-1. And I got a lot of pushback off of this. Hey, they're underachieving right now. Why? Because they should be 7-0. But this is Carolina. 6-1 should be celebrated. Not when you lose to Virginia. No. And I don't understand what people don't understand about that. I'll tell you who doesn't understand about that. It's people who look at it from purely a entertainment lens. They're not really knowledgeable about football, because anybody knowledgeable about football will look at those 2 losses and they'll say, yeah, that's not good. They'll look at this schedule and say, yeah, that's underachieving. Anybody. You can't look at this schedule and say that that's not underachieving with what Carolina came into this season expecting to do. That's just my personal opinion. You are entitled to have your own opinion. And you know what? You may very well be one of the guys that says, I've been watching Carolina football for 30, 40 years, and there ain't been a lot of times that we've been 8-2. And you know what? I'm excited about that. I'm not. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything else rather than with that schedule and this team. We should have been 10-0. And I'm tired of underachieving. Tired of it. Now, on my preseason predictions, I put on there 11-1. Why? Because we were better than every team on our schedule except for possibly Clemson. And we have the personnel to match up with Clemson. But this isn't Clemson a month ago, and unfortunately it's not North Carolina a month ago. Now they're starting to get physical, and we have stopped being physical. And that worries me. That's why I picked Carolina to drop this game, and I don't like that, because we already have 2 losses that we shouldn't have. And I'm sick of people, trying to make it okay. Something worthy of celebrating. No. I'm sick of this celebrate mediocrity crap. If we were 8-2, with the old Clemson, we'd already played, number 6 Clemson in Death Valley, and we dropped that game. And we played Florida State in a close one, who's number 4 in the country, and we dropped that game. Then you know what? I'm excited to be 8-2. But I'm not excited about being 8-2 when the losses are to Georgia Tech and stinking Virginia. And you know what? There's a part of me that still puts an asterisk by the Duke game because we should have blown them out. Say, man, you're being unreasonable. No. I'm trying to, put some reason into it. I need everyone else to be reasonable. And reasonable is not to look at those 2 losses and say, that's okay. 8-2. Stop looking at 8-2 and look at the full body, the 10 games. You look at those 10 games and you find me 2 stinking losses. You look at those 10 games knowing what you know now about all these football teams, and you say that those 2 losses are okay. No. I'm tired of this be okay with mediocrity stuff, man. I'm tired of it. Put my seatbelt back on so I can head back to the house. I'm sick of it, man. And I'm not gonna be accepting of it. And for anybody that thinks, I think your expectations are too high. Bro, you're still not understanding what the heck I'm putting down, bro. You're still not understanding what I'm putting down because you're looking at it at a surface level. I'm trying to dig into the weeds of this thing. You got arguably the best quarterback in the nation, with one of the best running backs in the nation, with one of the best wide receivers in the nation, with some of the best recruiting classes in the nation, with one of the best head coaches in the nation. Heck, if you want to get down into the nitty-gritty, you can even make that argument about Gene Chizik because he's got a national title as a defensive coordinator. And yes, I understand that a lot of that had to do with Vince Young. I get it. I get it. But he still got a natty. All that. You got all ACC linebacker. You got Kamen Rucker, who just gives it every stinking day. You got everything that you could possibly ask for with that schedule and be 10-0. Now look, I'm all for moving forward. I'm looking forward. Okay? I am looking forward, but you cannot forget your past, or you are bound to make the same mistakes. You learn from it. And I'm just sick of this idea that, you know, well, like we pretend, you know, like we didn't scrape our knee. I can't stand it, man. I can't stand it. I really just can't stand it. And I understand the positivity, you know, the hey, let's be positive, and I get that, bro. I get that. But sometimes you need to stink and rant, and you need to be realistic. Living in reality is an important concept. Yes, you need to be positive. We should celebrate 8-2. We're bowl eligible. This hasn't happened many times, etc., etc. I get it. That's a surface level look at this thing. But don't forget about reality. You should be 10-0. And while, you know, there are individuals that are trying to paint this season as successful thus far, because we're 8-2, you know, that's just, it's unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable. I'm going into this Clemson game, I'm telling you right now, guys, and this is Russ the Tar Heel's opinion. If we go into Death Valley and win, hell yeah, bro. Absolutely. If we follow that up with a win in Raleigh, hell yeah, let's freaking go. All for it, baby. All for it. But it ain't going to make me forget about the fact that we had the schedule, if we can get those 2 W's, to have gone undefeated. Say, how many times has Carolina been 8-2? How many times has Carolina been undefeated? And everything that we had, the schedule that was placed in front of us, it was almost laid on a silver platter. And we stinking stubbed our toe twice in a row. And I'm not just going to let anybody convince me that that's okay. It's not, bro. It's not. It's not. I love these guys. I love the coaching staff. I love my school. I'm going to rep it till I die. I'm a Tar Heel. I bleed Carolina blue. But I'm also going to be truthful. I'm not going to live in some stinking fairy tale land. There's what should have occurred, and there's what is occurring. And I think that it's important to understand that we wasted a golden opportunity to not just be 8-2, 9-3, 10-2, 11-2. Hey, great. When you compare that crap to what you had in front of you, bro, that's not good enough. Like I said, man, and I'm trying to drive this point home so that you understand if you don't understand already. 11-2 is great when you lost to Bama and Florida State in Tallahassee. Hey, got it. Good. Good season, boys. 8-2 is great when you lost to Clemson in their heyday in Death Valley. Got it. Tracking. But it ain't good enough when you lost to stinking UVA, who's got 2 freaking wins, and a Georgia Tech team that can't pull their head out of their butt for more than a game. That's it. That's it, man. That's my rant. That's my rant. Hey, look, it's called a rant for a reason. You don't have to agree with me, but like I said, bro, I'm gonna share my heart. I'm gonna share my heart. Love the team, love the coaches. I'm not gonna pretend like it isn't what it is. Just keeping it a buck with you, man. So hey, look, if you haven't already, all right, this isn't typical. So if you're one of those guys, it's like, oh man, you're being real negative right now. I couldn't possibly subscribe to your channel or listen to you, Russ. Hey, I get it, man. Like I said, bro, this channel is for hard Tar Heels. It is, man. There's gonna be people that, you know, hey, if you want somebody to pat you on the stinking fanny and you know, pinch your little cheeks and tell you everything's great, hey man, I get it. And there's a time for that. Russ is ranting the Tar Heel Mobile, not the time. So if you haven't already, bro, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, man. Am I just out in left field right now? Or am I telling it exactly how it needs to be said? You let me know, man. You let me know. It ain't gonna change my mind, because I know what I feel. And I know the reason why I feel it. But I really am interested in what my brothers and sisters think. So make sure you put down in the comment section, man, how you feel about this topic. Is 8-2 okay this year, 2023, with this schedule? You let me know. All right? And we'll chop it up in the comment section, man, and we'll we can talk about it. That's what it's for. We can talk about it. So anyway, like I said, like, share, subscribe. I love you, Tar Heel Nation. Make sure that you're there for the live stream on Saturday, bro, where we're pulling for the heels to go and invade Death Valley and shock the freaking world. That's what we want, bro. That's what we want. That's what I'm pulling for. That's what I need. All right? Hey, great day to be a Tar Heel. Tar Heel till I die. Let's go, baby. Love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.